Okay. Everyone, can you hear me on the phone? Fine? Channel 79, I hope. Well, I didn't think we'd be back here for the 2,389th meeting of the Police Commission, but we are back coming to you remotely from Town Hall. So I will call the meeting to order. First order of business, acceptance of the minutes of April 8th.
And just for the
Moved.
record, I'll state that Commissioner Cunningham and Commissioner Joyce are on remotely, so we do have a full
Yes.
quorum.
We have everybody. Okay, all approved? Aye.
Aye.
The delay. Chief, correspondence.
There's two listed on the agenda. I'm going to add a third one on there, but we did get a nice note from the DSET team, which is the Office of Emergency Telecommunications for the state. They just sent us a little note to compliment the men and women of our dispatch for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to public safety in the time of COVID-19. So that was nice of the DSET team from the state. I got a very nice letter from, obviously, a young resident from Brookside Road, who was thanking us for our service and asking us if we would like to get a drone to help catch bad guys. So I did send him a nice letter back. Drone technology is something that is coming in the future, I would think.
Yes, I will not share his name, but it is a nice
Nice young
letter.
man, I sent him back a nice reply.
That's good.
We got an email just today from a worker at Bodega Taco Bar. Last night for Cinco de Mayo, they were mobbed with takeout orders. Had a little bit of a traffic and congestion problem, and the letter was commending TJ White, our lieutenant, and two of our other officers, and Captain Marin might be able to tell me who the other two officers were, but they were down there above it. Yes, Chair.
That was Officer Flood as well as Officer Brown, and I'll add a little bit more when you're finished summarizing.
Okay. So he said, in a world where everyone is so quick to point out the negative, especially against the police, I wanted to take a quick moment and highlight the officer that showed up to our place. He was with two officers, referring to Lieutenant White. The common courtesy, generosity, and outstanding community policing that was displayed by these three gentlemen was amazing to watch. I just wanted to commend those officers for going way above and beyond the call of duty. They don't seem to be just three great officers. They are three great people as well, and it meant a lot to us. So that was very nice. Jerry, you can fill in the blanks, but the officers were there, I think, actually helping getting deliveries to cars. Go ahead, Captain Marin.
That's correct. A couple of residents have forwarded me social media photos on display of Lieutenant White and the other officers doing just that. And just to add, I guess there were some technical glitches with the restaurants ordering services that they use, and there was approximately 50 meals left over that were not picked up. And they offered to give it to us, and we in turn, based on Officer Flood's idea, we brought it to the Stamford Emergency Department, where it was very well received. Very nice.
Very good.
Sounds good all the way around. I'm glad to hear one of our local businesses was crowded. That's nice to see that people are out and that we could help. And we fed Stamford. That is a trifecta win
Yes,
right
it
there.
was. Indeed.
Awesome. Okay, no other correspondence. Department activity. Jerry, is that you?
That is me. This is from the period of April 6th through just about yesterday, May 5th. On April 14th, the 66-year-old Darien man was arrested for possession of child pornography based on an investigation which initiated in late February of this year. On April 14th, a Birch Road resident reported a theft of a package from their mailbox. On April 15th, a Half-Mile Road resident reported theft of mail from his mailbox. On April 21st, the Citgo gas station on 5 Mile River Road was burglarized during the overnight hours. On April 28th, a Lillian Terrace resident reported that a check in his outgoing mail was stolen and subsequently cashed for a different amount, and the payee had been changed. April 29th, 72-year-old Worcester, Mass. Man turned himself in after learning there was a warrant for his arrest for failure to appear in court. April 29th, a 42-year-old Norwalk man was arrested for breach of peace after being involved in an altercation with another subject at a West Avenue business. April 30th, a 31-year-old Waterbury man was arrested by warrant for theft of a motor vehicle and his involvement in stealing scooters from the Norotan Heights train station on 2 separate occasions in September of 2019. Since April 6th, patrol officers have logged almost 900 criminal prevention activity entries, indicating they carried out functions such as patrolling parks, beach areas, school grounds, and other areas of town to prevent criminal activity from taking place. These preventative patrols are occurring at a rate of almost 30 times per day. Patrols have also taken place, well, it's over 23 times now, but at the time I wrote this, 23 times at Woodland Park since April 17th. In the same period, we've had 10 burglaries of unlocked cars. We've had 5 stolen cars, 4 of which were unlocked and the keys were inside, and 1 was unlocked, but the owner maintains that the keys were not in the vehicle, yet a second set of keys could not be accounted for. We had a little bit of an uptick in accidents over the last couple of weeks. We had 12 motor vehicle accidents, 5 of which involved injuries, no pedestrian accidents.
Catherine, were they all on the post road?
Pretty close, the majority were.
One other thing to add to the activity report is that the midnight shift, night before last, located 4 subjects, 3 adults, 2 adults from Bridgeport, 1 adult from New York, 1 juvenile from Bridgeport. They were involved in the theft of mail from over 20 or 25 different residents here in Darien. We've engaged with the U.S. Postal Inspectors who are going to be taking that investigation over, working with us for federal charges. So that investigation is continuing. So, again, mail theft, overnight hours.
Attached, right? That's totally the Darien patch?
Yes, a press release was put out on that, indeed. Nice job by the 11 to 7. A nice job by the 11 to 7 shift that night, and engaging the postal inspectors early on. I think that will come to the best conclusion possible.
No, that's great. We haven't had necessarily good luck. We can only say it so many times, but I'm going to say it again, which is outgoing mail. Try to get to one of our post offices and put it in one of the secure mailboxes. And also definitely check your incoming mail. I mean, I would imagine that with all of the stimulus checks, they feel like it's probably a more target-rich environment, so we may see a little bit of an uptick knowing that things are flowing through the mail right now.
And there was, in fact, at least 1 stimulus check in that mail that was recovered.
I don't know for sure, but, well, that's, again, that's great, because we have not, hopefully that leads to a decrease if we can get them off the street. Anything else? Or we'll move to old business. COVID-19 update.
Just like on our last meeting, COVID-19 really is still the main topic of conversation and the main topic of activity or inactivity around town. Fortunately for the department, we have maintained a COVID-19 free environment. We have no positive employees with COVID-19, which is a plus for us. We've been running pretty much full strength, which is also a plus for us. We're engaged with many other community organizations still with COVID-19 comings and goings, with deliveries of meals and reopening of the beaches, which is coming tomorrow. We'll be assisting Parks and Rec tomorrow with the reopening of the beaches. They have posted very, I think, reasonable rules for park use and social distancing. And I would ask that everyone know what these rules are and follow these rules so we don't have to make any amendments to them. We are expecting people to follow the rules, enjoy the beaches within reasonable limits as we roll it out to see how it goes. That starts tomorrow, 6 a.m. The beaches will be open. As our usual protocol, we open them up at 6 a.m. for the early morning people who want to walk or enjoy a cup of coffee. Parks and Rec department have been working very hard to hire on additional security staff and gate guards. That is the focus of our meeting that we're going to have with them tomorrow, to coordinate our efforts to make sure we have our best chance of success in keeping everybody safe at the beaches.
Now, the beaches have been open, they just haven't been open to vehicles.
Correct.
So
tomorrow they're back open.
They're back
vehicles.
open to cars, and that's 6 a.m. at this, we're prior to Memorial Day. What's the closing?
8. It's going to be 8 p.m., which usually we lock the gates, by 10 p.m., but they're going to be closing earlier this year, and that may be a constant until further notice. So again, we'll try to make an announcement or have the the security folks down there make an announcement at 7:45, because clearly when we lock the gates, your car's gonna be there until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, most likely. So we want to give people a fair opportunity to vacate before we lock up.
Chief, I have a question for you. The quote-unquote security down there that is not, I'm just hoping that the police department is not being asked to keep people 6 feet apart. I hope we have bigger things to focus on than that.
Right. That discussion was certainly had with the public policy makers here in town. I think the security guards that are hired on privately are the ones that will be doing that. They will be calling us if there's circumstances that require police intervention. But as I said to somebody today, we're not planning on being, Baywatch and David Hasselhoff walking the beach, enforcing
Right,
social
Chief.
distancing. Again, we're looking for folks to take reasonable steps to keep themselves and others safe. We do not envision that we will be the social distancing police 24/7 or whenever the beach is open. While the first couple weeks of this is going on, I have asked the division commander, Captain Marin, to deploy officers to the beach unless otherwise occupied, just to make sure that we're rolling this out properly and just to show the colors there, that folks know that we're there, and we will reassess as we go forward what our presence at the beach might need to be. But yes, it is not going to be any kind of heavy-handed enforcement of social distancing. I think our officers can handle whatever comes down the pike at the beach. I'm confident that our officers can successfully handle it and remedy the situation.
Never in doubt. I just don't want to see our guys being forced to worry about 6 feet rule. Thank you. The 6 foot rule.
Any other COVID-19 updates from the captains or any questions? Anyone? Well, every week is a new week, so the weather, we may not have anyone at the beach at this point. It's just crazy. So hopefully we'll get some nice weather and we can actually get to the beach.
Yes.
But, okay. Next item, discussion regarding the Darien Police Association request for tattoos.
Well, the commission will recall we've had this conversation on several different meetings over the last year or so. We have crafted a general order regarding the allowance of visible tattoos from officers that I think is workable. Although I may not be a huge tattoo fan, I do understand that is currently in this day and age, we may be losing viable candidates because of tattoos. So I submitted to the commission the draft general order of tattoos on a 1-year trial basis and then an annual review thereafter. And tattoo will be at the discretion of the chief of police and the police commission to determine what is appropriate and what is not. Everyone has heard me say that I am a absolute firm believer in that grooming standards and appearance standards are the province of the police commission. It should not be subject to contract negotiations. Standards are with the group of the police commissioners. I do think this is a workable concept. I'm willing to put it into play now. We worked with the association to come up with some draft terminology and provisions, and I think we successfully have done that. Does not allow for any kind of tattoos that would be in any way offensive, derogatory. It doesn't allow for tattoos on your hands, on your face, on your neck. So I think it's a workable policy. I would recommend to the commission that we employ this general order on a 1-year trial basis with an annual review thereafter.
I believe all 3 commissioners have had ample time to review it, so I move that we approve this as written for the 1-year trial basis to be reviewed this time next year. Second?
I second that.
On
Second.
favor? Aye.
Approved.
Excellent. Any other old business? No. New business, false alarm count request for funds for children's handouts.
Well, we give out these stress police cars at a lot of events that we do with kids. Unfortunately, you have to buy them at 1,000 at a time
How's this?
So 1,000 of these small squishy police cars with the Darien Police logo is $2,391. And I think Jan put on the thing, we're asking for $2,400 to buy 1,000 of these cars, which lasts us quite a few years. It's not like we go through 1,000 police cars in a year. So we'll be looking from the alarm fund for approval from the commission for $2,400 to buy these cars for kids' events.
So moved. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That is all I have. It is a regular meeting, so if anyone has anything else, feel free.
The only thing that I
Hey,
might...
Chief, I just have a quick question about Schwinneger and Wallman. They've been, kind of since school is closed, they've been redeployed to patrol.
That is correct, and that allowed us, right at the beginning, when we did have some folks on preventative possible COVID-19 quarantine status, when this first was breaking, having them, as well as T. Courtney Isaac, our traffic officer, also deployed back to patrol, allowed us the latitude to have sufficient staffing where we did not incur a large amount of overtime expenses. So it's been a win-win. We're about to start deploying our Marine Division, and we're probably going to be deploying it on more days and potentially for more hours than a typical summer, because we believe this summer is going to be a high season for boating. Having the school resource officers deployed back into patrol, although it may not be them deployed to the Marine Division, it's a body that will allow us to deploy the Marine Division on a more regular basis. I think we may need more than a shift on some days. We may need a shift and a half out there to make sure we have coverage for the amount of boating activity that I foresee coming.
Thank you.
Another question is probably should have asked under COVID-19 tests. If the officers feel they were exposed or on a call, are we now at a point where we can get a test?
Yes.
Almost immediately? I don't know.
Through the health department, and there's an internet portal to go on. Any officer or any employee who wants a test can get a test. The health department and the HR department have rules for coming back if anyone does test COVID-19 positive at any point, the multiple tests that you have to have and the time frames that you have to have before you can come back to work. I think that's been working fairly well. I think those rules are reasonable. We don't want staff coming back too quickly if there's a possibility that they could transmit this to somebody else, but so far, so good. Like I said, we've been COVID-19 negative for all our staff members thus far, civilians and sworn officers. Although we do have some civilian employees whose family members have been positive, we haven't had the employees themselves become positive.
But should we need the tests, we can get them.
Yes, that's through the health department.
Excellent. Okay.
Chief, if I could just add on, make a comment on Commissioner Cunningham's question about the Marine Division and the SROs. Sergeant Derek Mulcahy is working as we speak on a modified Marine Division schedule. We're looking to get the boat spring maintenance done a little bit sooner than we would normally, and I'm going to have the guys start looking at adding additional coverage from Marine Division out on the water, where normally we would start the weekend of May 16th and continue with weekends only through the middle of June. We may be looking at more of a full-time status a little bit earlier, just because of the nature of what everything's going on and the prediction that there's probably going to be a boating season that's going to start prematurely.
Thank you, Captain.
So.
And one more thing, just kind of traffic type related, we would ask again that our residents and guests please be very circumspect when driving through neighborhoods, especially down in the beach areas. There's many people out there walking and biking, and no matter which side of the argument you come down about cars and walkers and joggers and bicyclists coexisting, we do need everybody to take an extra second and keep everybody safe. We're still getting complaints, at least the perception of speed ticking up in different neighborhoods, because there's just so many more people out walking their dogs and walking the neighborhood because they need something to do. So all over town, we would ask people to just check their speed. Not so much on our surface streets, but I'm sure if anyone listening or on this meeting has been driving on the Turnpike or the Parkway, you can see that the speeds have certainly gone up on the highways. So we would ask everybody to be safe out there.
Well, and clearly people are back out because we had some motor vehicle incidents. And how silly of me not to take the opportunity to remind everybody, it is not a COVID-19 law. It is a law you walk against traffic. Never put your back to traffic, even when this is all over. Walk against traffic and bike with traffic. Certainly that's the safest. It certainly also helps people maintain social distancing if you are not continuing to have somebody who is going the wrong way. You can all move together. But again, that is not, a lot of people have questioned that. Is it COVID-19 or social distancing? It is not. It is a walk always. It's the safest not to put your back to traffic. Walk against traffic, bike with traffic, and try to maintain distance for what is going to be, if we ever get nice weather, crowds out on the streets.
And the last thing that I have is just advisement. People have maybe seen it already, but both the Memorial Day Parade and the 4th of July fireworks are canceled, unfortunately. I am a big Memorial Day fan to show our respect to those, as is our honor guard. However, this year, the safest and prudent thing to do was to cancel it. I'm in agreement with that for this year. There may be some small gathering at the Veterans Cemetery, but due to the governor's restrictions of the gathering numbers, parade just was not in the cards this year. So we'll be back next year. Hopefully by then we're back to some kind of semblance of quasi-normalcy, and the parade will be back with more respect and honor than ever before.
Okay. Anything else from the phone people?
No.
No one? Okay. We shall, again, we thought last time we wouldn't be back here, but I will not say that again.
So we don't have a calendar.
We don't have a
here.
calendar, say 3 weeks? Is that, what is, does somebody have 3 weeks?
I'll certainly get you my electronic calendar. Today's the 6th.
3 weeks would be
The 27th.
27th.
So that's
27th is
the
great.
Wednesday after Memorial Day. Does that work for the other two commissioners?
27th, yeah, sure. 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
We'll advise if we're virtual or back to reality,
Yes.
but I'm thinking the 27th will probably be one more virtual, but maybe not.
We'll find out. All right. So Wednesday, May 27th, 4 p.m. is our next meeting. And with that, we are adjourned.